Whew. Hey dude, Chris here. Super excited to give you this little bit of a training on how to craft like a really crazily good irresistible offer that I don't think anyone in your target market would have any reason to not reply to. I just finished the bay run as per usual. I always end up on this little stoop up here that I get to do some breathing after the walk. I'm fat and obviously need to do some walking at the same time too. So I thought it would make sense to give you like a tiny bit of backstory first. When I first started in B2B selling, I had a little bit of a hard time actually getting deals across the line. I learned pretty early on that I was like really good at building a relationship, but to actually make a sale, my sales skills weren't that fantastic, and I'd always have to lean on the relationship and almost guilt lever to get someone to buy larger amounts of our product, more than they needed, that they thought they could sell through in the first place. When your only reliability is leaning on the relationship guilt lever, it doesn't last that long. And the biggest challenge you generally tend to, or one of the biggest challenges you generally tend to face from there is the fact that you hear these terrible words a lot where they say they went with someone else and it's just business. Two of the most soul-crushing sentences to ever hear if you are trying to sell a product or service to anyone and you've got a relationship with them already. Luckily, I'm a really quick learner. I have to make the same mistake 843 times before I actually learn a lesson, so I'm a really quick learner. But luckily, I had the sort of epiphany that made me realize that if I did want to succeed in B2B selling, and then later on in this whole sales coaching thing that I'm doing right now, then I needed to learn not only how to actually supply the demands of the people who I was currently serving, but find a way to actually create something that would supply the demands of anyone in the target market, people who didn't even know me yet. At the time, it was really cool. I was like a 24-year-old kid who had pretty much a bit of a dream job, actually. I was traveling the world working for a major sports nutrition company based out of Toronto, Canada. And I was looking after Australia, New Zealand, a tiny bit of Asia and Europe as well for their international sales, so into distributors. Some of the accounts that I was managing were doing like millions in sales with us per year. And I was thrown in the deep end to the truth of it. I was thrown in the deep end. Luckily, I'm quite a personable person and found a way to actually, lean on that relationship and build those relationships quite quickly. To be fair, I used to go out and party with a whole lot of clients because I was good at that at the time. And it was almost like every time I'd come into town, because I was traveling across so many different sections in the world, that when I would come into town, they would almost see it as like a little bit of a holiday. So every time they saw me, it was it was connected to good thoughts and feelings. And when I started to sort of, take it seriously, I knew I wanted to do really well in the industry, and I wanted to sort of crush it in my position at the company because I was given this, fantastic opportunity to do so. But I kept getting hit with that same problem. You're a hustler, Chris. We love you. You're heaps of fun, but we went with the other guy. Fuck, again? And same old story. It took me 848,000.682 times to learn the lesson that I had to start asking myself better questions. Instead of how can I make a sale, it was more along the lines of like, how can I become that person who is not only the other guy, but becoming the only guy? Luckily for me, I became super hell-bent on answering that question in becoming the only guy. How do you become the only guy in that industry? And luckily for me, things started changing pretty quickly once I started working out the answers to that. I started, clients who weren't ordering started ordering. Clients who were ordering $500 started ordering $5,000. Some people ordering $5,000 started ordering $50,000. And the biggest transaction I ever made in one sale was $240,000 once I learned how to craft an offer that would make me be the only guy. Not too bad for a 24-year-old kid who really was just doing his best. It wasn't until I took it like totally upon myself and took full responsibility for learning what everyone in my territories across the 5 different continents that I was working in across in the world, what really made them tick and what the biggest challenges that they were currently facing like right now in the market were. That would, not only make them want to work with me, but in some cases increase their orders by up to 1,000 times. That also helped me grow the division of the division that I was working in the company by 6 times to like a $21 million position. Like, not too bad again for a 24-year-old kid. I really had to ask myself what made these guys tick, and luckily for me, I stumbled upon a really cool formula, and it's worked for me across every industry that I've played in so far, being sports nutrition in B2B, coaching so far, business broking, recruiting, any industry where you are the intermediate person, where you have to actually sell a product or service to someone. It has worked for. And the fact that I know that I've helped people across, I think it's like 18 different industries, I know that it'll work for you too. So what I did was I went and surveyed all of our major customers. Actually, I think I ended up surveying about 30 different people. And I actually suggest that if you would like to put yourself in a position where you become the only option, or if that grasps any excitement in your head whatsoever, that I suggest you go and do the same. I'm going to give you 6 questions to ask these people, and sequentially when you do it, it builds out something meaningful to them. The questions sort of go like this. Question number 1 was, what are the other distributors out there that you're currently dealing with offering you that you love? Question number 2, right now, what aren't you being offered that you actually need? Question number 3 was simple, but not enough people ask it. What is the biggest challenge that you're currently having selling through the products that we have, or through any products that are currently in your stores or online? Question number 4, really specifically, what help do you need right now? Question number 5, what do you know beyond a shadow of doubt would help you sell through more of the products that we give you and the other products in the store that wouldn't have you out there discounting and slashing prices? And then my favorite question of all, if I could craft something for you that met the demands, and I could supply the demands that you have just told me across the past 5 questions, would you be willing to consider doubling your order with me the next time I come to you with an offer like that? It's a little bit cheeky, but a lot of the time you get what you ask for, and I've found that one of the coolest things I've ever done in selling and learning to be a really good sales professional and hitting these crazy targets is asking questions like that. If you ask someone to double their order, they consider it. At least they consider it. But questions 1 through 5 that I spoke on just before, they help you build out what I call a Godfather offer. If you guys have seen The Godfather, Don Vito Corleone, he tells the world that he has an offer that he cannot refuse. So when you put together the answers from questions 1 through 5, you can build out your Godfather offer that no one in your target market would ever be able to refuse, at least considering in the first place, at least considering the offer you have out there. While question number 6, being as cheeky as it is, because that's who I am and that's what I do, was getting someone to, the right people who were interested in it, to verbally pre-commit to doubling their order if they could see that you genuinely were, 1, caring about them, 2, supplying the demands that they currently have right now. And not everyone did it. Some people told me to go to hell, but that's okay. That's almost like a gift to me. But the people that did do it ended up doubling their orders with me, and that's super cool because that means I was so much closer to budget. But through those 6 questions, they were unbelievably helpful to my sales success, and they still are today. They would tell me exactly what other distributors out there were doing to win their business, and then I'd just better it. They would tell me exactly what other products and services they need inside their organizations to actually sell through the product, and then I'd build that into the order. In some cases, not all, but some, they would tell me that there was a challenge with them actually selling through and marketing their products. So we would work out an offer for them that would have them buying a minimum viable order with us, where we would reinvest back a percentage of that order value into actually helping them market that product and service for them, with them and for them. And the beauty of that is, not only did it help them sell through the products that we were currently actually offering them, but it actually helped them sell through the products that they had on the shelves that weren't ours as well. So to these guys are like, wow, this is insanely good. So adding that into the offer and making that a part of the order based off percentage of the order value was like insane amounts of value to them. So they continually wanted to work with us. Funnily enough, this is where my sales coaching stuff actually started, because when I was leaving those companies, I had all these people saying, hey Chris, we want you to help us. Where are you going next? We were buying products off you because you were helping us actually, market better, and you were helping us actually become better business people. I had no idea this is the case, but this is the reason that people, saw the value in my knowledge specifically, and that's how I actually ended up becoming a coach in the first place. I didn't know it was going to happen, but it did. Crazy things happen when people offer you a lot of money to give them ideas, and will help them implement it too. That helps too. But then once I had a largely stacked offer that bled value to them, that gave them everything they needed and wanted and nothing that they didn't, that literally helped them sell their products to their audience, and that helped them pre-sell their current offers and further upsell items to their audiences through the marketing that we're helping them doing. It was at that point that no longer was I sitting there hoping and wishing, but they would not only just start buying from us, they would ask us, what's next? What do you bring out next? And what deals and offers can we work on next? And that's the place you want to be in. Through my experience, I've learned how to supercharge any offer in this space, and here's the steps to success on doing that. Step number 1 is simple. Just work out what the main problems are right now, and then go and work on solutions to that specific problem and make that the main part of your core offering, because right now that will be hugely helpful to them right now. Step number 2, consider what the logical next step is for them once they have either your product or service in their ecosystem, right? So if it's an actual physical product, what do they have to do next? You probably have to market it. If you are a service, you have to think what the logical next step is after you're working with them, right? Like what do they do after they've worked with you? And if you can build that into the actual order offering, what that does is it gives them confidence, clarity, and certainty in the fact that when they work with you, the next step's already looked after. So they're not sitting there going, what do I do next, blah, blah. If you can build that logical next step part into the offer, that's where the magic happens. Like for us, anyone who comes into one of our courses or our programs or whatever it is, we help them with their marketing. So they know that they come in with us, they're going to get a whole lot of information and valuable ideas. They're going to help them, increase their business. And then we're going to actually help them specifically get to market with that. So we help them with the logical next step, and then help them set up their next, month, 2, 3, 4, 5 months of success in a one-on-one space as well. So the logical next steps are already done and sorted for them. Step number 3 is when you have that logical next step thought process already mapped out in the journey of the buyer after they've actually worked with you, build that into the order. Because when you do that, it becomes a no-brainer for them. Step number 4, super simple. Once you have that Godfather offer, get it out to as many people in your target market as you humanly can to get people to get eyeballs on it, give you the feedback, and buy the products and service. We recommend using cold email and joint ventures to do so, but start with what's already in your current ecosystem of people and customers, and then start prospecting out further from that. You'll get the best feedback from the people you currently know, and then go use some really cool, crafty cold email campaigns, and then go reach out to all the people who could potentially be great joint venture partners across that space to actually help you access more people that they've worked super hard to actually accumulate as well. You can leverage their assets and work out a deal to make that happen too. It's one of the smartest ways to do it. Ooh, and the cheeky step number 5, ask all of them to double their orders. Seriously, ask all of them to double their orders. You're not going to hurt yourself by trying. The process is super duper simple. And once you have all the information to, put the pieces together of the puzzle that do create the Godfather offer for them, it gives your clients and prospects out there a certain level of confidence and clarity to work with you, because you've laid it out on the table for them in a way that makes it so irresistible to them, and they want to work with you and work out what the next steps are going to be for you at the same time too. And this works in any economic climate, because especially right now in the craziness of the world that we're currently living in, if you can find a way to help these people through and navigate through the crazy times, they are going to flock to you over the person who isn't someone who's being selfish and focusing on their own problematic areas, rather than you, who is out there working on ways to actually make their life significantly easier, give them some confidence and clarity as well. If you can do that for them, they're going to flock to you. So no matter the economic climate, you're going to be the person they turn to, and you're the person that's going to end up profiting from it at the same time too, which is the cool part. Now here's the kicker. You can't just do this once. I actually recommend that you do this like every probably 90 days, especially right now. There's so much uncertainty in the world, and people's challenges are changing every daily, hourly, by the minute right now. That if you don't do this often enough, you are running the risk of getting an offer out there to a target market and an audience that don't actually want to hear what you have to say right now, because the current challenges that they are currently facing aren't what you're trying to supply. They're the demands that you were aware and that were available to them, 6, 7, 8 months ago, 3 months ago, whatever it might have been. For God's sake, it could be yesterday for all we know right now. If you can find a way to actually show these people consistently that you are looking for new ways to solve new challenges that are currently available to them or facing their worlds right now, they will look at you and go, wow, this guy really, he gives a shit, and we want to work with him based off that, or him or her based off that as well. But if you don't do it frequently enough, and I see this happen quite a fair bit with a lot of people that I train on webinars and in courses and live events and all sort of stuff, this is like the penny drop moment that so many people have not been accumulating this information that is so valuable to them, their target market, and their success in their business and growing their sales. And they go, wow, I now see why we aren't hitting the mark with our target audience, because they aren't in a position where they see that we are actually trying to help them right now, and we're trying to get an offer out to them that we didn't actually, we haven't changed since 1984. Chris, thank you so much. And I'm really, I'm unbelievably grateful when I can see that shift happen in someone so quickly. So the caveat here is you need to do this at least once every 90 days. That's what I'd recommend. I would probably check in with your target audience and see how frequently you can actually keep asking, a set or a variation of these questions so you can actually see what's happening in their worlds. But start with a 90-day period. 90 days are cool. It's a known, work sprint that we work on anyway. But if you do it consistently, you will show them how much value you can provide to them too. Simple next steps. Ask the questions, get it out to as many people, get the orders. And from a super duper next step point of view, if by any chance you think that I would be able to add some value to your world by helping you create those offers, find a way to actually super simply get those offers out to people and help keep you accountable, keep you on track, and make sure that you actually are succeeding, and look over your shoulder to make sure that you actually are in a position that's actually on track to success, I would love to have a chat with you. Do me a huge favor. Either shoot me an email at chris@thebusiness.sydney saying would like to work with you. Just in the email title, just put in case study. I would love to work with you and help get some amazing results and put some testimonials out there that are from you, and help you through that. So either do that, shoot me a DM on Instagram at thechrism, or just shoot me that email, chris@thebusiness.sydney, and we'll find a way to get as many leads into your system so you can sell these people as quick as possible with the right offers, right timing, and double your sales for the rest of 2020. Super excited to work with you. I'll get all the details across to you. We can either jump on a call or just talk by email, and can't wait to see your success roll through in 2020. Either way, have an absolutely fantastic day, and I can't wait to see your success. Bye. Chris out.